So now we're going to talk about Maine. Maine became a state on March 5th of 1820, making it the 23rd state. The state capital of Maine is Augusta. And of course, Maine, if you look at it on the map of the United States, is the northernmost state on the map. It's on the far east coast, and it's at the very top. And I'll show a map of it in just a minute. The nickname of Maine is the Pine Tree State. It's known for having a very wooded areas. A lot of people hunt there. A lot of people they use it a lot for logging and things like that. The current governor is Janet Mills, and it's known for lobster. That's one thing that Maine lobster is something that is fished off of the coast of Maine, and it's a really big part of the industry. Maine is known for being the home of Stephen King, the horror author of stuff like It, as Stephen King wrote a number of books like that. The home of the LL Bean Company has a lot of outdoorsy type clothes and things, and being the home of the first incorporated city in the U.S., which is York. The first incorporated city in the U.S. was York, Maine. Maine is also known as the provider of 99% of the nation's blueberries, which is interesting. You go in, you see blueberries in the store, and for the most part, unless they're locally grown, they're going to be outsourced from Maine. Historically, Maine is known for being the location of the nation's first sawmill and being the location of the first naval battle of the American Revolution. And of course, there is a map of the state of Maine. You see Augusta, Maine there. It's got the little star. Remember we talked about when you're reading a map that the star on the legend usually identifies the capital. And so you can see that located right here in this area with Augusta, Maine. And there is the state flag of Maine. And now we're going to move on to Maryland. Maryland became a state on April 28, 1788, making it the 7th state. The capital of Maryland is Annapolis. It's known as the Old State Line, and the current governor is Larry Hogan. It's known for playing a pivotal role in the development of Washington, D.C., because what they did is they took land from a number of states, including Virginia and Maryland, and they used that land to form Washington, D.C. It's known for the birthplace of the baseball player Babe Ruth, being the sailing capital of the world, where people go there for sailing, to sail boats and things like that. Not sail, as in you're selling something, but sail, and I'm probably saying that because of my accent, probably butchers the sound of it, but sailing a boat. And the birthplace of the Methodist Church of America. So the Christian denomination, the Methodist Church, has its birthplace in Maryland. It was also the first state to enact workmen's compensation laws in 1902, where people who get injured at work receive compensation or receive money because of being injured. Historically, Maryland is known for being the home of religious freedom in the New World. It was formed as a refuge for persecuted Catholics from Europe and growth in Maryland from the Industrial Revolution. So basically, what happens is when people are coming from Europe, the Catholics especially, they're being persecuted in Europe. There's a big ordeal going on between the Protestant church and the Catholic church, and they basically hate each other. People were being killed left and right for being a Catholic or a Protestant. And so a lot of Catholics left Europe and came to the New World. This is where Maryland gets its land, like Mary's land, talking about the Virgin Mary, which is a pivotal part of the Catholic faith. And so that's kind of how it got its name. Now you see Maryland right here. It's kind of a weird shaped state. You have the one little area right here that it's part of the Appalachian Mountains. It's just a small area of land that connects it to this part. But then you have this area over here that kind of makes this weird shape here. And then of course you get Washington D.C. located here, right in the middle of Maryland, because they took land from Maryland and Virginia to form Washington D.C. And then there is the state flag of Maryland. So Massachusetts is next. It became a state on February 6, 1788, making it the 6th state. The state capital of Massachusetts is Boston. The nickname for Massachusetts is the Bay State, and the current governor is Charlie Baker. It's known for producing many Supreme Court justices from Harvard Law School. Harvard Law School is one of the preeminent law schools in the country. It's known for law all over the world. It's well respected for its law school. It's home to the first subway system, which was in Boston, being home to the Basketball Hall of Fame and the birthplace of the American Industrial Revolution. Many of the northern states played a key role in the Industrial Revolution because they were industrializing during this time. The official dessert of Massachusetts is the Boston cream pie, and historically it's known for the Boston Tea Party, of course, where colonists was upset because the East India Tea Company that was giving sole rights to selling tea in the colonies. And because of this, it was putting colonial tea merchants out of business. And so the people got upset about this. Plus, there was taxes on tea and everything else. And so they got upset about it. And so they wound up throwing the entire shipment of tea overboard into Boston Harbor, costing a bunch of money to the tea company. And it really hurt because this company was having trouble paying Parliament the taxes and stuff they owed anyway, and so this is really going to hurt that. And so this was something that the colonists did as a form of protest before the American Revolution. The first Thanksgiving took place in Plymouth in 1621, and being home to the first basketball game played in 1891. There is a map of Massachusetts. And then there is the state flag. You can't tell it's a flag because it's got a white flag. But, of course, you can imagine it's kind of like that. And that is the state flag of Massachusetts. So, Michigan is next. It became a state on January 26, 1837, making it the 26th state with the capital of Lansing. The nickname for it is the Great Lakes State, obviously, because of its location of the Great Lakes. The current governor is Gretchen Whitmer, and it's known for the automobile industry, especially in Detroit. It's known for the home of Tim Allen, comedian Tim Allen, from TV shows such as Home Improvement and Last Man Standing. The cereal capital of the world, and home of former President Gerald Ford. It's also known for being the first state to guarantee taxpayer education offered to every child. And that's what you get to benefit from today, where taxes pay for your education by keeping schools like Phil Campbell open, paying for creation of new schools, things like that, paying teachers' salaries and stuff. Before this, you would have been in a one-room school, a log house schoolhouse building. Everybody would, of course, we can't do this because we have 400-something students, but all the students would have been in the same class, usually 20, 30 students, all the way from ages 6 to 18, and they would have one teacher, and the students, their parents would take up money to pay the teacher's salary. Now, with tax-funded education, then the taxes paid to keep the schools going and salaries and things like that. Historically, Michigan is known for an 1817 University of Michigan being the first university established by a state. It's also home to the first set of phone numbers given out to Detroit citizens in 1879, and in 1929, the Michigan police established the first state radio police system. So this is all pretty big things. University of Michigan being the first state-funded university. Of course, other states, University of Alabama, University of Arkansas, University of Missouri, are going to follow in this same way. You have the first phone numbers given out in Detroit in 1879, and then the first police radio system, which is a big deal to help with law enforcement. And here's a map of Michigan. Of course, Michigan is a state. When you're looking at it on the Maine map, it's going to be split in two. And you see that right here in this area where you have this main area and this main area. That is all Michigan, so keep that in mind. And here is the state flag. Now, the last state we're going to discuss in this video is Minnesota. It became a state on May 11th, 1858, making it the 32nd state. The capital of Minnesota is St. Paul. The nickname is Land of 10,000 Lakes because there are a lot of lakes in Minnesota. And the current governor is Tim Walz. It is known for being one of the best educated and wealthiest groups of people in the country. There's a lot of very wealthy, educated people. It is located in Minnesota. It's also known for being the birthplace of the stapler, the first armored cars, and the first Tonka trucks. And this is in Minnetonka, Minnesota, is where they developed Tonka trucks. And so the little toy Tonka trucks come from Minnesota. It's also known for the development of the first water skis. Outdoor recreation is a big part of Minnesota. People skiing and going out on the lake and things. Of course, it's the land, 10,000 lakes. So you're going to have a number of people going out here doing water sports, and so it's development of first water skis. Historically, it's known for the discovery of the Kensington runestone in 1898, which is where the runestone was found, which is believed means that people came to the United States before we generally give them credit for, and it discusses how they when I was here, they came across a situation. A lot of them got killed, and the Kensington runestone kind of discusses that. Scott Waltzer is a forensics investigator that really took this story and ran with it. A lot of mainstream historians dismiss it, but he looks at the hooked X being one of the symbols as being the surefire way of proving the Kensington runestone is real. The development of the children's section of libraries, which is random that they wouldn't have thought of this to begin with, but Minnesota is credited with that. And many Native American wars. Minnesota, this is the map of Minnesota. You see Minnetonka right here. There's a lot of large cities in this area, with St. Paul being located there. And there is the state flag for Minnesota. So that is all for this video. Keep watching.